Today, we talk about all the places that Jeffrey Dahmer supposedly haunts. Let's get into it. My name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Soucy.
And we're paranormal investigators who live in the most haunted city on Earth, Savannah, Georgia.
Whether we're in the studio
or out in the field,
we hunt for the stories and experiences where the veil feels thin.
Shout out to our Parajunkie family on Patreon. This show is only possible with you.
And remember, this is a judgment-free circle. Your experiences matter, your questions are welcome, and the weird is normal.
So cut the lights, turn the volume up, and journey with us into the most haunted city on Earth. I'm Madison.
I'm Chris.
And welcome to the most haunted city on Earth.
Who's that sexy girl up there?
Bruh.
It's me.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
We're both sexy, okay?
I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Wow.
Y'all.
Wow.
DeBria's on the show, everybody. She's back.
Yeah, literally. Hello and welcome to another episode of the most haunted city on Earth. My name is Madison Timmons.
And I'm DeBria Robinson. I mean, Chris.
I was like, I was waiting because I was like, is she gonna do a bit here? But then you said nothing, so I was like, is this the bit?
I can't.
And I'm JT Timmons.
Perfect. Yes. Yeah, Chris is still across the pond currently.
Yep, he comes back tonight.
Yeah, when we're filming this. But when Chris is away, JT will play. And so we are including a little more true crime in today's episode because that's JT's special interest. And I was like, let me feed into that. And DeBria gets to tag along for that. So, but before we get into it, a few announcements for y'all. We want to thank a few new Parajunkies. So we want to thank Anna Donnelly and Catherine Jackson, Herb and Marathon Mom, James Cunningham, Erica, and Lavisa. Thank you all so much for joining us over on Patreon.
Welcome to the Parajunkie family.
And
it's a growing.
It is a growing. And as always, if you are looking to support the podcast in more ways so that we can go and travel, do more investigations, all that good stuff, you can join us over on Patreon. It's a lot of fun. We're currently talking to them right now, live on the internet. So, yay. Also, we have Haunted Yoga already live on Patreon. So if you have not heard about this, basically, I recently got my certification to be a yoga teacher. And thank you, DeBria. Thank you so much, everybody. Wow, a gift, honestly. No, but I am very grateful to have that. So we started starting to figure out an idea of like how to incorporate that with the show. And we decided, well, we have a whole paranormal museum just begging for yoga, obviously. And so, we now are doing that. And the first episode is already up on Patreon. It's great. It's great.
Yeah. Some amazing feedback.
Yeah, some really good feedback. Charlotte even liked it. I did not get sick after Charlotte boinked her little bell at me.
Oh, God.
Well, like, she did it twice, like once in the intro, and literally as I was closing it out, she goes, ding. And I'm like, wow, she approves. It's really good because I was concerned. And then also From One to Wicked has come back from the grave. So, we're going to be doing more episodes of From One to Wicked now. So if you like the true crime stuff that we talk about today, maybe go join us over there as well. But
new episode dropped last week.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
on the 13th, I think.
Yeah, it was the 13th.
Actually 10 days ago, yeah.
Yes, because it was on my birthday. Yep. Which, speaking of my birthday, DeBria got me a gift. Now, I have not looked at it, even though the box is open. DeBria got me another gift that was not supposed to be opened on camera. This was supposed to be opened on camera. So I was opening the other gift, and on FaceTime, DeBria goes, "Not that one." So here we are now. Oh, yay!
Woot. All right. Well,
I'm scared.
You should be.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Read it in your head first before you.
Okay. It's okay. So we have a mug shape. Is this why you were asking if you can cuss on the show?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So this mug here, some ASMR for you. It's this mug says, "My celiac is chronic, but my ass is iconic."
Yes.
All of that is true. It's very accurate. Booty ghost, she's thrown it back at this statement. She really is.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
You know. All the ass here.
Goodness gracious.
Incredible.
No
really,
problem.
really solid gift giving. You never know what'll come out of those boxes. So let's talk about ghosts.
Alrighty.
Very nice.
Also, real fast, if you hear something in the background, I'm going to do all I can to get it out, but next door, they are having a show while we are doing this. So if there is just a little bit of something, that's what that is. All right, let's get into it.
All right. So, all over the Midwest, there are claims of paranormal hauntings all associated around the notorious serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. And I thought this would be an interesting topic to discuss solely because Chris and I have mentioned this before on the show, where there is the room for possibility for people to haunt multiple locations. And Chris always has said, too, that you don't have to be dead to haunt a location. And I feel like with that theory being said, that Jeffrey Dahmer's ghost might actually be a really great example of that particular theory.
Okay.
Because we're talking like 8 to 9 different locations that people say he haunts.
Wow.
Really? Where is he from?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. Okay.
So Wisconsin.
Okay.
But yeah, I just find that super interesting because,
too.
you know,
Yeah.
you don't hear that a lot with other serial killers. Like, you don't hear, I've never really heard it with like Ted Bundy, maybe with Bundy because he went to so many different locations, but it's
Yeah.
like, these are not even locations necessarily that he killed, not all of them. So I do find it interesting that like some of them are from his childhood, some of them are just places that he frequented, and
Yeah.
I'm like, intriguing. So I'll
Fair.
present the information and then we can discuss and you can make an informed decision on your own if this is Jeffrey Dahmer that's haunting it or if it's just a coincidence and maybe it's a different ghost. So we'll get into it. Hopping into the first location that Dahmer is said to haunt. Every Dahmer haunting starts to fall into one of two categories, which is number one, hauntings attributed to him, which typically are shadow figures, oppressive presence, or a man seen watching people, or the hauntings are attributed to his victims. For example, Stephen Toomey in room 507 of the Ambassador Hotel, or Stephen Hicks in the Ohio house. But interestingly enough, there's technically nothing physical left of him to haunt a place. So there's not really items, except for one location, that you can claim are the source of the hauntings. Milwaukee basically attempted to systemically erase his existence. The apartment building is gone. The objects that he owned were incinerated. The body was cremated, and his brain was cremated. So with that being said, I know. No, like they literally said, we're going to completely pretend that you never existed. Which is fair. So location one is the Ambassador Hotel, specifically room 507. It's located at 2308 West Wisconsin Avenue in Milwaukee. You can stay here in the room. Now, what happened here was in November of 1987, Dahmer met 25-year-old Stephen Toomey at a bar and brought him back to a room that he'd rented for the night. Toomey was his second victim, and by most accounts, he was the turning point after this. And so Dahmer began seeking victims deliberately after this encounter. So some of the lore around the hauntings that people experience in the hotel is guests reporting a crushing heaviness when they're in the room, difficulty breathing, they wake up at the witching hour, which classic, you know. The most common story is, this is very creepy too. Dahmer reportedly when he woke up after killing Toomey, he found his body in an awkward position half off the bed. And a lot of guests claim to wake up finding their own partner lying in a strangely similar position.
That's not funny.
I just think that is so unbelievably creepy. Like,
Right?
I'm like, I don't even know what I would think in that situation, because sure, you can write that off as like a coinky dink, but
Right?
like, I'm like, that is just so specific that I'm like, it feels paranormal, especially because it's happening in a room.
Right. I will
Something
walk
like that
out.
would have happened.
You can have her or him.
Yeah, literally. Now, also, people report hearing the disembodied screams, being physically pushed off the bed, flickering lights, and apparently writing that appears on the bathroom mirror. People have also claimed to see a man covered in blood walking down the hall before disappearing into the wall.
No thanks.
Paranormal investigators have described the room's atmosphere as purely evil and have claimed to have captured full-body apparitions. Hotel management has stated that technically renovations eliminated the original room, meaning that the 507 people booked today may not be the room where Toomey died, but yet people are still having experiences. And I think that's an interesting point to note, just because of the fact that just because you change the way a room looks, it doesn't necessarily get rid of the energetic impressions of a space. If anything, you amp up a lot more paranormal activity when you do renovations. That's why a lot of people...
They need to burn it down to the ground.
Yeah, honestly. But no, you can stay there still. So, but the rest of them, yeah, it's a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
Now, location 2 is the empty lot that used to be the Oxford Apartments where Jeffrey Dahmer lived. His apartment was 213. And inside of this, or on this lot, it's located at 924 North 25th Street in Milwaukee. It is fenced, but technically you can go to view it if you wanted to go do that. But what ended up happening there was Dahmer lived in apartment 213 from May 1990 to July 22nd, 1991. Most of his killings occurred in that apartment. Now, what is there today? Absolutely nothing. So it is literally just a lot. The 49-unit building was bought by the Campus Circle Project, which was a Marquette University-affiliated redevelopment group, for $325,000, which is so cheap.
Right.
And demolished in 1992, 15 months after the remains were found in Dahmer's apartment. They literally said, knock it down.
Right.
The
smell probably was horrible.
Well, that's what got him. Truly. No, seriously, because like his neighbors would complain about a foul smell, which tends to happen to a lot of killers like that. But the project president, Patrick Lesage, framed the demolition as replacing a symbol of anger and pain with a commitment to community healing. They planted grass and flowers, but now the plot is considered cursed. Because every single plan that people have come up with to utilize that land has died. Including, which, mind you, some of these concepts, I'm like, why there? One of them being a children's play area called the Tot Lot.
They killed the children?
No.
God.
No, the project just didn't go through, which I'm like, that might just be because why would you put a children's playground on the lot of Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment?
That's real?
Yes, the Tot Lot.
Oh, my Lord.
No.
Not the Tot Lot. And it's... whose idea was that?
I don't know. It was like some development group.
I'm Googling. I'm
Yeah.
Googling who
Came up
thought they were going to put the Tot
Tot
Lot.
Lot. So a victim's memorial also was designed to go there through an environmental study space for middle schoolers.
Why
but that did not. Literally. I don't know why the kids are involved in this. But apparently that was the case. But it did not go through. Also, a criminal artifacts museum, which I feel like, okay, sure, didn't work. And then all of those collapsed. So in 1998, the city of Milwaukee bought up a batch of marquee-held vacant lots, but pointedly not that one. They specifically said, you can keep that one. A Marquette spokesman said no one had shown any interest and that people's reluctance was understandable. The lot is currently privately owned by a man named Ogden Holmes, and per Marquette Wire reporting, Ogden bought it for $500. He bought the lot for $500.
Wow.
With an agreement prohibiting development on the land.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And so a memorial has been repeatedly rejected, and a mayoral spokesperson cited fear it would attract people with a morbid fascination with the killer. Which I'm like, just put the memorial up. People are going to go visit regardless. You might as well do a memorial for the victims. Like, that seems like a no-brainer in my mind, but apparently it's not that simple. Now, location 3 is one of the childhood homes, in this one specifically, the house in Bath Township, Ohio. So it's located at 4480 West Bath Road in Bath Township, Akron, mailing address, Ohio. It is currently a private residence, so you cannot visit like that. But what happened there is this is where Dahmer murdered and dismembered Stephen Hicks. And a man named Chris Butler, who was one of the founding members of the 80s band The Waitresses, he bought the house in 2005 for $244,500.
Okay.
He wanted a place where he could make loud music without bothering neighbors and was drawn to the 1950s style in the wooded lot. But he did know the history of the house, and the listing agent had to formally disclose that information to him. So he's been blunt that Dahmer's connection was not an attraction and that he's not interested in the paranormal.
Oh, wow.
But yet he has let investigators come and investigate his house before. So then in 2009, he did an NPR All Things Considered piece where he let paranormal investigators sweep the house with equipment, and he even used copper dowsing rods himself, which I found a photo of him doing. So he's got a little bit of an interest in the paranormal, if you ask me. But their gear largely malfunctioned throughout the investigation, which I find interesting. One of the cameras positioned in front of the fireplace in the living area turned off on its own. They anticipated that either the film had run out, the battery had died, or both. However, surprisingly, 300 minutes of battery life remained and only 40 minutes of tape had been used. So it just straight up went off. In fact, all the equipment located near the crawl space where he hid bodies, mind you, had malfunctioned. So it was functioning when they departed, but machines stopped working, batteries died, and their computer system displayed a massive 2 gigabyte sound file that refused to open.
Ooh.
Right?
2 gigabyte sound file?
Yes.
Do you know how big that
In
is
2009.
for a sound file?
Yeah.
That's insanely big.
Nerd.
Like, you would have to record for a really long time to get that. So that's crazy.
Literally.
Nerd. Yeah. I mean, it just kind of piqued my
Your curiosity.
like, oh wow.
Now, Butler says he's not very interested in the paranormal, but he also hid a secret recorder in the house. And this was partially to catch anyone tampering with equipment. And on the tape, he buried his recorder in hours of fridge cycling and house ambiance, but there is an unexplained thudding noise. Now, I could not find the file, but that is allegedly what it sounded like. His official statement on the house, he said it was a really weird noise that he couldn't place, but he said it was probably nothing. And he believes that the house is haunted not by ghosts, but by reality, by what humans are capable of. Dahmer's ghost, he says, haunts the neighbors who won't come in for coffee. Not shocking. And it haunts the victims' families every minute of every day. Neighbors have reported some incidents, though. Neighbors have reported feeling cold spots when they're around the house. They supposedly hear whispers coming from it. Also, what I think is the creepiest is people have reported seeing shadows passing across the windows even if no one is home.
Heck
Ooh,
no.
creepy.
Yeah, super creepy.
Love it.
Now,
No.
he does know a little bit what the place is worth and the dark tourism world, if you will. But Butler rented out the house for $8,000 during the 2016 RNC in Cleveland, and was cheerfully open that he was using its history to make money. Cleveland, yeah. It also was a filming location for My Friend Dahmer in 2017.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes. So the house has also repeatedly been put up on the market and has struggled to sell. Even though it is 2,170 square feet, it's 3 bedrooms, 1.55 acres, built in 1952, has a pond, rock formations out back, and he was selling it for 2 different price points, $295,000 and then $329,000. Neither one of those got anybody to bite.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
So, if that tells you anything.
Yeah.
Now, location 4 is the grandmother's house. So Dahmer did go to live with his grandmother for a period of time in West Allis. It's located at 2357 South 57th Street in West Allis, Wisconsin. The home is an occupied private residence, so you cannot visit this place. Like, I have to make that abundantly clear.
Yeah.
Like, this is somebody's home. But Dahmer lived here
And
for...
if you do go, don't say we sent you.
No, do not say we sent you. Trespassing is a real crime, people, so please don't do that. Dahmer lived here for 9 years with his paternal grandmother, Catherine Hughes, from December 1981 until May 1990. He was sent there by his father and stepmother, hoping she'd straighten him out. He did kill people there, including dismembering Stephen Toomey, who he brought his body back from the Ambassador Hotel in a suitcase, and also Anthony Sears. So it is also a colonial revival house built in 1939. His grandfather Herbert bought it for $5,750 in 1939. This particular location, this is why I'm emphasizing this is a private home, is it is a heavy emphasis on TikTok as a ghost hunting location. Don't just show up at people's houses.
Yeah.
Even if there is allegedly some type of activity going on there. But it is an interesting counterpoint that it was the site of multiple murders and dismemberments, but somehow it never generated any solid ghost stories outside of just lore of what people speculate might be going on there. Even though it is also right next to the Ambassador Hotel, which generated dozens of stories. So that's another interesting point of what I bring up with this, where it's like, I think sometimes people associate really awful things immediately causing a haunting, but that doesn't always happen. And sometimes that can be just who is living there. They can put up their own barriers of sorts that prevent those types of hauntings from occurring. Or sometimes spirits just don't want to hang out in a place, like I feel like we have an emphasis on true crime, especially when with victims haunting a location, but that's not always the case, because who wants to live in eternity in a place that caused so much suffering?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be shocked if there's not necessarily concrete evidence. I could definitely see residual haunting being possible there just from the sheer awfulness that occurred in the premises. But it makes a lot more sense that the hotel would have more encounters because you're having a lot more people coming there. People are going there with the intention that they want to experience something, and that's feeding into the ghost fuel, if you will. Now, location number 5 is the Columbia Correctional Institution, so the prison where Dahmer was held. This one's one of the more convincing ones, in my opinion. So it's located in Portage, Wisconsin. It is an active prison, so obviously you can't take any tours or investigations.
Unless
in
you
the
go to
building.
jail.
Yeah, unless you go. That would be crazy
That would be.
if you specifically got imprisoned just to go ghost hunting. I mean, I guess there's somebody out there that would do it.
Right.
But, I wouldn't recommend. But now, the reason why the inciting incident that caused a lot of the paranormal lore is this was where Dahmer was killed by a fellow inmate on November 28th of 1994. Interestingly, Dahmer initially had been kept in protective custody, shackled outside his cell, precisely because officials feared someone would try to make a name by killing him. And so he requested more freedom, which I'm like, why are you taking requests? Like, this man does not need to see anything like that. But he was granted it. He moved to a unit for prisoners with emotional problems and got communal meals and work duty. Then he was killed. So inmates and staff reportedly describe an oppressive energy in his old cell. A hulking shadow figure is seen in corners a lot of times, which I don't really recall Dahmer ever being described as hulking, but I guess if you see like a large mass of shadow, you could call it that. But the sounds of laughter and the sounds of chains clanking happens in his cell often. Which people associate with the fact that they had him chained most of the time. They also encounter a lurking figure seen near the spot where he was killed. So I think that is super fascinating and would make the most sense that like his final exertion would be where his particular spirit would be residing if he's going to become a ghost. So if I had to place a bet of where exactly Jeffrey Dahmer is haunting, I'd say it's the prison. And I love it.
We got to commit a crime.
We got to commit a crime.
I think he wouldn't want to be at the prison, though.
I think he could be trapped there, personally.
I mean, maybe.
You never
Maybe.
know.
Yeah.
But I do think the most compelling stories have come from the prison.
Yeah.
So location 6 is the Morel Tower at Ohio State University. Now, this is located in Columbus, Ohio. Dahmer did attend OSU for 1 quarter before dropping out and enlisting in the military. Rumor says he lived in room 541 of Morel Tower and still haunts it. The university registrar confirmed he attended but won't release housing records. Residents, though, have reported experiencing super vivid nightmares in that particular building. Also seeing a figure in the closet moving towards their bed, which I'm like, are we sure that's not a collective sleep paralysis demon? Because, like, why is Jeffrey Dahmer creeping up to your bed from your closet at night at a place he literally only attended for 1 quarter? So, just my take. But that might just be fun lore for college students. But I figured it's interesting to include, considering these are all places that he allegedly haunts. The next one is Shaker's Cigar Bar, located at 422 South 2nd Street in Walker's Point, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It is open to the public and has tours nightly, so you can go to visit this place.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Dahmer was an occasional patron there, and reportedly in 1991. Now, one account narrows it to January through July of 1991, right up till his arrest. So he would have been actively killing and preserving bodies in his apartment at that time when he would have been attending this bar. Built in 1894 as a Schlitz brewing cooperage, reportedly on top of one of the area's original cemeteries. It was built on top of a cemetery.
Wow.
Oh, God.
So perfect. It was a Prohibition-era speakeasy and brothel with Capone brother connections. By legend, a young woman named Molly Brennan was murdered by a client and dismembered, buried beneath the building, which is super weird.
Oh.
She is said to haunt the upper floors, which is also an Airbnb rental now, and the listing warns guests about the ghosts. Also, a little girl named Elizabeth was said to have died on the land before the building existed. Faucets turn on by themselves, stall doors slam, patrons hear giggling and footsteps in the women's restroom. And then in the basement, there is mob lore, and tours claim ground-penetrating radar found 2 sets of human remains under the floor. So they believe that Dahmer is kind of lumped into this already present energy.
Yeah.
So you can drink spirits and see spirits.
Sure can. So And then our last one is going to be another place that you can visit, technically, is the Alcatraz East Crime Museum in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
They have a crime museum?
I guess they do.
Okay.
And they own they acquired Dahmer's prescription glasses that he had in prison.
That's crazy.
Yes, that he had in prison, and put them on display. And since then, staff have reported seeing a quiet man standing near the display case after closing, well after the last visitor had left the building.
He was probably trying to find his glasses.
Probably. No.
Oh my gosh.
Creepy, right? And when they approach the spirit, he makes eye contact and dissolves. This is the only object-based Dahmer haunting in circulation because everything else was incinerated. So the fact that they have these is insane.
That is insane.
But I do find it really interesting that the glasses have marked such an intense uptick of encounters that they've had. Because here in Savannah, we have the Greyface Museum, and they have Jim Jones's glasses as well. And I think there's something to the glasses aspect that
What they saw through.
it's what they saw through,
Yeah.
and it lives on your face. So it's just like, if you're talking just energy absorption, that's going to be like one of the most absorbed items, I guess. But at the Greyface Museum, when we did our investigation there, we noted that the Jim Jones glasses were very, very active on multiple occasions during our investigation. So I feel like there's some type of theory there to work off of. But I do find it interesting, and you can go visit them technically if that's something you're into.
Yeah, and it has Warren's panties there.
Yeah. Oh, not at the crime museum at Graveface.
Yeah, great face.
They have Eileen Warnos's underwear, technically. But now, info about all of his belongings. So after his death, a court awarded Dahmer's belongings to victims' families who planned to auction them for compensation, which I've never heard of happening. But that is really interesting. It's an interesting way to have any kind of restitution, if you will, where they get to make all the money off of people's fascination with dark things. The inventory included the refrigerator where heads were found, a Sears freezer, the 57-gallon acid drum, a drill, 4 knives, saw blades, a handsaw, sledgehammers, 2 sets of handcuffs, an 80-quart aluminum kettle, chemical-resistant gloves, bicycles, bed sheets, gargoyle figurines, and a lava lamp.
That's a lot.
Partridge in a pear tree.
Yes. I literally...
Killing is a part-time job.
Mm-hmm.
God.
And I'm like, all of that in an apartment, too?
Right?
But the family's attorney openly speculated it could fetch millions of dollars, comparing the frenzy to the Jackie Onassis auction that had just brought in $34.5 million from auctioning off that estate.
Yeah, yeah.
So Milwaukee real estate magnate Joseph Zilber was repulsed by the fact that they were going to be auctioning off all of these items, and raised $407,225 through the Milwaukee Civic Pride Fund to buy the entire estate from the families so it could never be sold.
Wow.
Yeah. And in June 1996, one day after the Columbia County judge approved release of the items, everything was destroyed. It was transported to an undisclosed landfill in Illinois and then incinerated.
That's crazy. You would think that it would be put in a museum, but I guess he didn't want.
He didn't want
want even people being interested in that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why I say them having the glasses is actually kind of an anomaly in my mind.
Yeah. No, definitely.
But Zilber's stated that his intent was to make sure these tools of death would be permanently destroyed. He died in 2010 at 92, having spent his last years giving his fortune away. Dahmer, though, his body was cremated September 1995, and his ashes were split evenly between his divorced parents. His mother, Joyce Felt, wanted his brain preserved for scientific study. She said she wanted to make some small usefulness out of her own nightmare. His father, Lionel, objected, and a judge ordered the brain to be cremated in December 1995. All of that to be said, there is no gravesite, no relics, no apartment. There is also a lot of property that nobody is legally allowed to build on that is associated with him. A memorial that was refused because it might attract too many people. Milwaukee literally did everything a city can do to leave him nowhere to be.
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah.
They destroyed all of that.
Yeah.
I wonder where his brother is. Honestly.
Great question.
Like,
I mean, honestly.
how does it feel to live with a killer, you know?
Yeah, literally though. Yeah, I mean, we do see like a lot of books and stories come out of people who were like raised by serial killers, but I do
Yeah.
think that would be interesting.
So Jeffrey Dahmer's younger brother, David Dahmer, or Double D, lives completely out of the public eye under a changed name and a private identity.
He said, "Y'all can't find me."
Literally. Honestly, that is the
He
best.
was arrested.
Shut up.
Oh,
He has intentionally distanced himself from his brother's notoriety, avoiding all media interviews and public appearances since his brother's arrest in 91.
Okay.
Crazy.
That is absolutely insane. Now, being all of that, yet the stories of hauntings still persist. Like a shadow man in a prison nobody can enter, a man beside a glass case in Tennessee feeling pressure on the chest in the hotel room, having nightmares and seeing shadows in a dorm at Ohio State. I'm like, all of these coming together, it's kind of shows that it's like if something paranormal is going to happen, it's going to find its way to the people. And so I think there's nothing wrong with what the city of Milwaukee wanted to do with completely trying to rid itself of just a really awful tragedy. But I do find it intriguing about all of the different experiences that people have had. So with that being said, I personally think the most likely places that Jeffrey Dahmer is haunting is the prison, the hotel, and maybe the Alcatraz Crime Museum.
Yeah.
or places where there's dark meat, you know.
I'm done.
Okay, I'll stop.
That's DeBria's take. And yeah, it's I think that's overall what the dealio is. It's just really fascinating, and I really do think it is the perfect example when you're talking about that theory of you can haunt more than one place, especially if you were a horrible person who left misery and mayhem every single place you went to.
Yeah.
Would make sense that you would leave behind a lot of residual energy.
Mylea says she supports your humor, DeBria.
Yes. Finally.
Congratulations. Finally you found somebody. She's like, finally I found somebody to support my humor.
Oh my Lord. But what are
boy.
y'all's takes? What do you think?
I think the glasses are the most likely attachment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
think-
makes sense.
I
It
think
makes
he's
a lot
haunt-
of sense.
I think he's haunted where those glasses are because they've made it a point to destroy literally everything, and the fact that the glasses still remain. I think that's a go-to. Yeah.
I just can't get over the fact that people see like what looks like a man standing near where his body was found after he was killed in the prison. I'm like, that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was a full-blown narcissist, and I feel like that breeds into like your soul level. So wouldn't that narcissism be like, look at me,
Yeah.
my
Yep.
spot?
What about you, DeBria?
I think the glasses.
You think the glasses as
The
well?
glasses is good.
Yeah, you can't kill without seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you
true.
could, but like,
Well, and they were his prison glasses, so he would have been killed in those glasses.
oh yeah.
So
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's crazy.
take it as you will. But let us know down below what y'all think about this particular set of information. And if you like this type of deep dive into possible theories around a case or a person, let us know if there's anybody else you'd like us to look into. But with that, I think that's all we have for you today. So my name is Madison Timmons.
I'm JT. I'm dark meat. Okay, I'm DeBria.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. And stay spooky, y'all.